Hello everyone! So after more than 2 weeks of waiting, we finally got the first part of episode 107 of Skibidi Wars by Verlance today. And now I am going to make the best and most detailed analysis of it. And in this episode, we finally got to see what happened in the Speakerman's base, and what new awesome abilities Titan Speakerman and the upgraded Speaker Strider will use in battle against the Necromancer's minions. But why did the infected Skibidi mutant ask the Dark Speakerman to join the Necromancer's forces so easily? What terrible truth has been hidden from us all this time? And most importantly, what's going to happen with Speaker Strider and Speaker Woman after they'll realize that G-Man is right behind them in the beginning of the next part of the episode? So if you want to know the answers to all these questions, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because I saved the best part for later, just as always. Let's go! Okay, well, but considering that my last analysis was posted quite a really long time ago, let me quickly remind you of everything that happened in the series before, so you could understand what is actually going on in this episode in the first place. So, episode 106 begins with a brief recap, which is reminding us of the Alliance's focus on experimental armor upgrades for all the Titans, as it's aimed at protecting their bases and the remaining keys crucial to their mission. We also remember about the importance of Tri-Woman, who used to be TV Woman, that was recently repaired to aid in harnessing the power of Crystal Shard of Tri-Titan. So it's crucial for her to reunite with Tri-Titan, who senses her presence despite the protective shields around her. The episode then moves to the Speakerman's base and introduces a new character to us, which is a high-ranking Speakerman with distinctive white speakers, who seems to be in charge of Titan Speakerman's upgrades. The Dark Speakerman is our POV, and he is now equipped with the new, powerful fighting suit. He is also tasked with meeting Speaker Woman, but their reunion gets interrupted by the sudden attack led by G-Man and his clones. The Speakermen are kind of caught off guard, but as they are known for their light-hearted nature, they don't really care but start fighting nevertheless. The Dark Speakerman and Speaker Woman also quickly engage in battle, showcasing their new abilities. The episode also introduces a mysterious female voice to us, which was directing the Dark Speakerman and possibly being one of the enigmatic administrators of the Alliance. Amidst all this chaos, meanwhile, the White Speakerman activates the experimental armor for Titan Speakerman, despite the warnings that it may not function as initially intended. So the episode culminates with the dramatic entrance of Titan Speakerman in his new armor, while stunning the G-Man's clones with a powerful attack, and setting the stage for some major confrontation that we're finally got to see in today's episode. Okay, so now that you've remembered everything, it's time to move on to analyzing episode 107 part 1, which is already on your screens. And by the way, here's an interesting fact for you guys. So as it turned out, more than 70% of the people who watch my videos are still not subscribed to my channel. So I would really like to remind you to subscribe right now. And if you do so, I will be very happy. Okay, so if you are subscribed now, let's continue. So the first part of episode 107 starts with the same Dark Speakerman POV we saw in the previous episode, and this dude really rock on the battlefield. Just when he's using his knives, he's already unstoppable. Check out how he lowered this Necromancer's minion to the ground and then tore off his assault rifle and made it his own. And by that I mean that he put that baby into real good use while literally destroying the head of the infected Skibidi in front of him like a raw potato. It must be pretty pitiful for a dude to get sent to heaven with his own weapon he's lost. Don't you guys think so too? Okay, and then the POV gets joined by the rest of his elite squad coming from the Speakerman's base entrance. So he's accompanied by our favorite Speaker Woman among all of them that we saw in the previous episode, who is wearing the outfit of the character from Tekken fight game series called Reina. And there are also 2 more Speakermen besides her, and I believe these guys must have been burning it on the dance floor during the Speakerman's rave party in episode 106. But at this moment, they're not here for dancing actually, so I think they'll turn out to be of some good help for the POV and his girlfriend. And yeah, don't get worried, I still have my own Speaker Woman as a waifu, the photo of which is hanging on the wall in my house. But this is the other Speaker Woman and not the one I admire the most, so the Dark Speakerman can actually keep this one. And by the way, I found it really interesting how Verlance decided to add more Speaker Women into his series, and I wonder why. Maybe he considers them really hot as well, so there must be more than one. Okay, whatever. Let's get back to the content of the episode, though. The POV collects his lost knives and waits patiently until Speaker Woman opens the door to the outside, which doesn't really work as it was initially intended to. So in the end, she just puts a knife into the button-pressing position, which causes the door to open a little bit, but still not wide enough. So the dark speakerman decides to help her and manually open the door with his almost bare hands, proving that he's a real Giga Chad who's acting like from some sort of blockbuster movies. And then he quickly glimpses around and sees how the battle was already in the middle of it when his squad finally got outside. And there are bigger G-Man clones lurking around in the air. But thankfully, these clones were either not that far-sighted, or maybe the rain created a really good cover for our guys, so they stayed undetected for some time. So the POV uses his jetpack to fly onwards without any troubles, and he sees how the G-Man clone in front of him suffers a pretty humiliating defeat from someone and falls to the ground like a toddler who got flipped by some mean grown-up. And we see that it was the upgraded Titan Speakerman who defeated this clone, and oh man, this brother looks really dope, and now he's even more menacing towards the Skibidi toilets than he already was before. And we can also see what new cool melee weapon he's got after going through his experimental upgrades, and it's some kind of huge scythe which is capable of being split up into 2 spears and used as a dual weapon. And then Titan Speakerman produces a sound wave of the battle roar. And man, he really looks like a Giga Chad in the posture like that during that scene. And then he notices Anthropore G-Man's clone appearing on the horizon and rushes towards him with all the anger he had. And with just one wide swing, he puts this creature into the eternal sleep as well. And after that, Titan Speakerman decides to show another ability of his new weapon, which works pretty much as the Kratos axe from the God of War game, where this character could throw his axe to hit multiple enemies in the air and then get his weapon back to him. And that's pretty much what Titan Speakerman does in this scene as well, where he manages to destroy 2 clueless G-clones at once with his scythe boomerang toy. And I found it really funny how these freaks didn't even try to dodge this attack, so they paid dearly for that. And after dealing with those guys, Titan Speakerman retrieves his scythe back and then rushes to some other part of this map, and unfortunately we're not going to see him in this episode after that, but I'm more than sure that he'll get back to us in the second part of episode 107, and later I will explain to you why it is so. And be sure to watch this video to the end, not to miss anything important. And after this awesome pyro show, the POV turns around and notices something unusual on the roof he stands. He sees the body of the fallen big speakerman in flames, and also the company of his teammates who are gathered around someone else. And as he approaches them, we see how they're giving their respects to the badly injured speakerman in the black suit who is about to leave this world really soon. And it seems like this guy is either asking them to help him somehow, although it is obvious that he's completely doomed at this point, or just wants them to stay away from him. And the latter seems to fit quite right, considering that his whole body soon gets on fire and seemingly self-destructs. And by the way, in the moment it happens, the POV looks at the boxes with the biohazard sign on them. And I wonder if they are somehow connected to that speakerman's passing. But then, the POV sees something even weirder. It is an empty toilet with the head of some speakerman inside, and its speaker dynamic is in toxic green color that even seemed to mentally affect us somehow. So the POV pushes it away, but to my knowledge, this weird thing could be some sort of a warning or a statement from one of the NECROMANCER's soldiers. And if you don't really understand who created such a weird thing, that this huge green Skibidi mutant should have been some sort of answer to your question. Although this mutant has a head of some fallen big speakerman on top as some disgusting war trophy or something like this. And at first he knocks the POV to the ground and rushes towards his comrades and starts beating the hell out of them, and only the speaker woman's body is nowhere to be found. Although the mutant throws her iconic knife to the POV as if he wanted to show that she is no more as well. After that, the mutant takes off the big speakerman's head, if I can call it this way, of course. And then we see the emergence of his real head through the special hole in his toilet tank. And by the way, this seems like an obvious reference to the 77th episode of Boom's original series, where Astro Toilets also carried the fake heads on them, while their real heads were hidden inside of their toilet tanks, and there was a special place in them. Okay, and after the real Skibidi mutant's head emerges from his body, we can notice how he looks almost barbarian, and his design is really strange for Skibidi Toilet Universe. The POV flies towards him and tries to avenge his fallen comrades, but the mutant is too powerful for him, so he just brushes him off. But what's really interesting is that this mutant doesn't really try to finish the job and destroy the Dark Speakerman, but instead he says him some words. He tells him that there is no point for the Alliance and the Necromancer to fight one with another, because the war is meaningless and the agents of the Alliance are just delaying the inevitable with their actions, because they are mortal and thus inferior in any way. So fighting with someone like the Necromancer is just a waste of time. And then the mutant turns towards us and says to the Dark Speakerman that he should join the Necromancer's army because it is them who know the value of the true power and blah blah blah, you know. But what really seemed cool to me in this scene is how the color of this mutant's eyes turned green from yellow, as if he was personally possessed by the spirit of the Necromancer himself in that moment. But the Dark Speakerman doesn't really seem to care about any of this at all, as he stands in the battle posture and gets ready to fight this powerful opponent back nevertheless, even if their powers are obviously unequal. And the Skibidi mutant knows that he's about to win in this fight perfectly well, but the Dark Speakerman insists to start it anyways. So he actually proves to be a badass in this fight because his hatred for the Necromancer and his army seems to be so strong that he manages to dodge the attacks from his enemy and deal a significant amount of damage to him with his knives. And for a second, it looks like the mutant is surprised by the POV's resistance as well. But he still thinks that he's going to be a winner in this fight, so he smiles menacingly and gets ready to finish the POV off. Too bad that in this moment somebody comes to help the Dark Speakerman, and holy moly, what do I see here? Isn't it my favorite Speaker Strider that Boom totally forgot about such a long time ago? And I was even praying for so long that Boom would finally reintroduce this machine into Skibidi Toilet series, just as he did with Camera Strider, which is operated by Mecha Cameraman now in the original series. But it seems to me that Verlance remembered about Speaker Strider as well. So he outmatched Boom in this field and brought it back first. And it also seems to me that Speaker Strider got a lot of really cool and powerful upgrades as well, just as Titan Speakerman. And guess who was operating this machine? It was Speaker Woman in Reina's clothes who actually survived the attack from this freak. Probably she managed to escape in Ada Wongwei and fool us all or something like that, I don't really know. Well, in any case, the Skibidi mutant got wrecked with just one powerful shot from Speaker Strider's cannon, but just before it was time to finish him off for good, the freak managed to teleport himself away. But he reveals himself again after our girl helps us get on our feet again, only to, escape anyways? This bro behaved really chaotic in this scene, I'm not gonna lie, and it seems like Speaker Strider was not happy at all about how Mutant escaped, and oh man, that looked really damn cute. But then as it looked into the POV, it seemed like it smiled with its huge red lens. Boom better make his own Speaker Strider just as cute as this one in his own series, because this is actually genius. But the fun cuts to be short after we see the real G-Man floating behind Speaker Strider, and on this pretty scary note, today's episode ends. And I am more than confident that Titan Speakerman will join the upcoming fight with Jimmy in the company of the Dark Speakerman, Speaker Woman, and Speaker Strider, and I think the next part of the episode will be heated as hell. And that was all for today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos, and also to my Discord where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!